Do you get to eat dinner before you come here?
Yes, I did. Yeah, had a nice ham
It was a
dinner.
delightful read.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Delightful read.
Sorry, you
yes.
couldn't be.
Had meatloaf.
I know.
Had
You-
meatloaf today, it was really good.
You could have
Meatloaf
had
and
salmon.
baked potato.
You eat usually before you come here?
Yeah, I gotta, otherwise I never know what I'm gonna eat again.
Right. Well,
I usually eat when they leave, after
Hip
leave,
rule call.
go home, eat, or stop
We're
at
all still here.
McDonald's and grab McNuggets for the dog and maybe a chicken sandwich for me or something.
On the dot.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 o'clock, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Barlow,
Here.
Councilmember Bowers, Councilmember Brem,
Here.
Councilmember Furrow,
here.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Here.
Councilmember McLean,
Here.
Councilmember Nesbitt,
Here.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Here,
Mayor Tosma.
Here, entertain a motion to excuse Councilman Bowers.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Rezegi,
Second it.
supported by Barlow. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, please rise and pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody get a chance to look at the agenda. We have one correction. There's an addition on 12C to appoint the city attorney. That's with all the other appointments. Anything else to be added or corrected? Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion by McLean, supported by Nesbitt. That who it was?
It's down there.
I did.
Motion by you.
No, she made it.
Motion by McLean, supported by Jarvis.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm on the wrong
I thought I
side.
heard it over here. Roll call.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbitt,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Mayor Tosma.
Yes. You guys are probably wondering why I moved you all around. Well, I want to get everybody closer to the door. I'm just kidding. Greetings and welcome to our first meeting of 2024. As mayor, I've chosen to move you all in different seats. Just like 2023, your old seats will be no more than a memory. I want to start out 2024 by giving all of you a fresh view, a fresh look, a fresh feel for what we do. In looking back on 2023, most of what we accomplished was meant to set the groundwork for 2024. We started replacing lead water services and will continue in 2024. As these services are replaced, then work can start on resurfacing the streets. The city did an assessment on the fire department, and as a result, we bought 2 new fire trucks, and new truck exhaust system was installed to cut down on carbon monoxide in the building. The city will continue to explore plans and funding for a new fire station. Keeping with the city's master plan, the Planning Commission approved several new site plans. One site plan saw groundbreaking that will provide much needed workforce housing. The Planning Commission and the City Council rezoned and approved a PUD for property on East Mill Street. Riverwalk Lofts will provide more than 130 apartments and retail community space. The city, through the DDA, started a downtown beautification streetscape project that will be completed by summer of 2024. The city was awarded a grant with matching funds to mill and resurface West State Road, and we will continue to apply for grants to improve our streets and infrastructure. We're under contract with an engineering firm to do design work for reconstruction of West Green Street. These plans will include water main replacement, sanitary sewer, storm drain, curb and gutter, and resurfacing. Surveying and engineering has already started. Along with applying for water and sewer and road grants, we will continue to apply for grants to improve our parks. To help improve the funding for our retirement system, the city applied for and received a grant. Plus, we paid extra contributions into the retirement system. As I give you all this new view, this new look from your new seats, I challenge you, and I challenge us, to roll our sleeves up and get the job done. We have a lot of projects we started in 2023, and we need to get them done. Thank you. That's why I moved you all around. I wanted to get you all a different view on what we're doing.
Thank you.
For the different view?
Yeah.
Different feeling.
I thought maybe it'd be a little different. Okay, next up, we need to elect a mayor pro tem. Do I hear any motions, any nominations?
I make a motion that we use John Rezegi.
Any other motions?
That is a motion.
Okay, do I hear another motion? I gotta do that a couple
I'm sorry.
times. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept John Rezegi, the nomination for John Rezegi, and to have a unanimous ballot cast. Do I hear a motion for that?
I don't know what that means.
Somebody needs to make a motion that John is to be our,
That's my motion.
okay. Motion by Barlow, do I hear support?
I guess I'll support it.
Okay. Motion by Barlow, supported by Jarvis, to appoint John Rezegi as mayor pro tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, approval of the minutes of December 26, 2023 regular meeting. Everybody get a chance to look at that. Is there any additions or corrections? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of the December 26th regular meeting
Support?
and
Sorry.
be placed on file.
Motion by Jarvis, supported by Furl, to approve the minutes of December 26, 2023 regular meeting. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Mayor Tossiman.
Yes. Next up, we have a public hearing. A public hearing is to accept comments from the public regarding the city's 2024-2028 draft master plan for the park and recreation. Sarah, you want to tell us a little bit about this?
So an update to the Master Park and Recreation Plan is due every 5 years. So it has the same timeline as the master plan that is for the entire city. It is required for certain MDNR grants, but aside from that, it's just a good idea to have an updated plan because that helps focus the goals and budget for the Parks Department. And parks are really fundamental as a quality of life initiative. It's something that a lot of people are interested in, and they have a lot of capital improvements and long-term maintenance expenses. So that is why this plan is being updated. We opted to update the plan in-house with staff this year. The last time we did it, we hired a consultant, and we were able to use a lot of that as the foundation to just update the new plan and save some money doing it that way. So just a quick overview of the plan content. I hope you've all had a chance to review it. The community description is very similar to what was in there before. Our city is in the same place as it has been. There's been some minor population and demographic changes that are reflected in the plan, but a lot of that description is quite similar, as well as the administrative structure. An addition this year that wasn't in the previous version is the Park and Recreation Committee has since been created. So their role in the planning document has been added to that, as well as an updated projected budget. The recreation inventory is also largely the same content, but it's been formatted a bit differently to be in line with the MDNR's updated planning guidelines. They like to see the information a certain way, so it's been modified to reflect that. some of the updates that were made in that recreation inventory are to reflect changes that have taken place since the previous plan, including the replacement of play equipment at Fish Hatchery Park, the removal of some defunct equipment, such as the tennis courts and horseshoe pits at Fish Hatchery Park, the improvements that were made to the disc golf course at Hammond Hill, and the addition of the food forest at Bliss Park. So there were some changes as a result of improvements that the city has done, but the vast quantity of the improvements that were proposed in the previous plan have not yet been completed for a wide variety of reasons, primarily funding. So a lot of those ideas and suggestions for improvements are still in this new plan, but they may be modified to be probably a bit more realistic and have the costs associated with them be a bit more realistic as well. The previous plan read a bit more concretely in terms of what the projects were, how much it was going to be, and what funding sources there would be. A lot of those funding sources relied on grants, which it's very challenging to get grants, and those didn't come through to fund those projects. So the new plan, although it still has a lot of the same ideas and concepts, are maybe less reliant on grant funding and a little more planning to use general fund dollars or fundraising in addition to grants that we would hope to be able to get as well. The goals and objectives that are in the updated plan are very similar. They were fairly broad goals that have been narrowed down a little bit more. And the action plan is probably the most important part. It lays out park by park what it is that we're looking to do, as well as some potential funding options and priorities. So there's a couple of park areas that are being suggested for future development. One is the nearly 20 acres of vacant land on State that's kind of near Aldi and Viking. This was previously in our park plan as well, but it had a lot of ideas in there that probably weren't feasible, either from a financial or conceptual standpoint. It was kind of all over the place, and based on a lot of the feedback that we received from the Park and Rec survey, which if you haven't had a chance to review that, I would really encourage you to. One of the main things that people were saying that they wanted was access to nature and nature trails. So should this be developed into more of a formal recreation area, it would be done so as trails, perhaps some disc golf or some other low impact recreation, but it would be kept very natural. Perhaps even as a trailhead for the Riverwalk Trail that goes through that area as well. New to the park plan is the development of a trail that would connect Fish Hatchery Park and Sweezy's Nature Area using an existing easement that the city has, the vacant McNair Street right-of-way. This would help connect some of our existing parkways in a low-packed fashion. And so that's really the only new project, truly new park that was in there that you wouldn't have seen before. So those are really the highlights of the plan. I'm really grateful to Marie Bean for helping to put all of the formatting together for the plan, as well as the Park and Rec Committee that sorted through all sorts of ideas and stayed late for several meetings to channel through all of that in addition to the other work that they were already doing. So I think it's a good plan. It's much more focused probably and realistic than the previous plan. And I think we have the right people on board with the Park and Rec Committee to help make the recommendations to get the priorities in order so that we can see it through.
Anybody have any questions, sir?
I have a quick question. Christmas weekend, I read the audit. This weekend, I read the park plan. When you, I noticed on the grant application, is that all you send is that grant application, or is there backup material to go with it?
What grant application?
There were 3 examples of grant applications in the plan. And I don't have the plan in front of me. Look like grant applications where you're,
I'm not sure. There is a grant, a form that did it look like a form?
it's a form.
Yes, so that is following a grant. And when we update our park and rec plan, we have to do an assessment of the parks that we used the grant funds for and make sure that basically what we said we were gonna use the money for is still being used for that. So if we use the funds for tennis courts, for example, they want to know, well, are the tennis courts still there? What condition are they in? Those types of things.
Oh, so that is after the fact.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and we have to continue doing that through the life of the park.
Okay.
Any other questions? I want to thank Sarah and Bill's on this board, on this park board, and I think you guys have really worked your tail off the last year to get us where we're at right now, so thank you. Okay, we have a public hearing, so let me open the public hearing. Anybody out there want to talk about parks or master plan? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Moving on. Public comment. Anybody out there from the public would like to speak? Formal recognitions and presentations. We have a presentation of our annual fiscal audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023 by Ian Rees of Cambridge. Is it Cambridge? Cambridge and Company?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of council, at the last council meeting, I gave you a very brief overview of the fiscal year ending 2023 audit. Tonight we have with us Ian Rees from Gaybridge and Company, and he's going to give you a summary of the audit. You have the bound audit in front of you. He's likely to reference this by page number, so you might just want to flip to that page. When he is done with his presentation, he'll be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Well, good evening, everyone. I was one of the auditors on the team who went through the audit for the city. I worked pretty closely with Chris and Sarah, and so everybody was pretty easy to work with, delightful to work with, to be honest. If you open up to the first page, page number 1 of the audit report, it's a few pages in, but it's called page number 1. This is our independent auditor's report, and it states what our opinion was on your financial statements that Chris and everybody keeps track of. And so if you go to the opinion portion, it's the first section, and then the second paragraph, this is the wording or verbiage for an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion, is what people often like to hear. Unmodified sounds a little bit weird, but clean means it's the best opinion you could receive. There's nothing better you could have done, Chris or any of you, to do to receive a better opinion. So in essence, everybody involved passed the audit and no issues. And so that's basically our opinion. And now I'm just going to kind of go through some of the financial highlights for the year and compare it to the prior year. So if you go down to page 6, this is the beginning of the management discussion and analysis, and I'm going to look at the financial highlights and just go through the 3 bullet points. In the aggregate as a whole, the assets and deferred outflows of the city exceeded its liabilities and deferred inflows for the fiscal year by about $35,000 or $35 million, a little bit over that. Meaning you have excess assets over anything you owe. That is an increase of a little under 1.3 million for the fiscal year. And then if you go to the second bullet point, at the close of the fiscal year, the governmental funds, which do not include any of your water or sewer or those type of funds, your governmental funds had a fund balance of about 6.7 million, which was an increase of 1.1 approximately over the prior year. Of all of your fund balance in those governmental funds, 59% of it is unassigned, meaning it can be used for anything. There's no restrictions on it. The difference between the 59% equates to about 4 million. The difference between your 6.7 million and 4 million in fund balance is largely due to your major and local street funds or any other funds that have restricted balances and have to be used for something specific. If you go to the next bullet point down, your unassigned fund balance in your general fund is the same for all of your governmental funds because your general fund is the only one that can really have that. And it equates to about 74% of your annual expenditures in the general fund. So what that means is, in essence, if you receive no income for the next fiscal year, you'd survive about 74% of it, at least in your general fund. So you have a pretty sizable fund balance to where you're not going to have any cash issues. It's not too large to where people would be wondering why you're sitting on so much cash, but it's sizable to where you're not going to have too many cash issues if something came up. If you go down a couple more pages to page 10, this is your statement of net position. It shows your assets, liabilities, and your equity and the changes between your 23 fiscal year and your 22 fiscal year. We pointed out a few of the larger changes on the next page. Your cash and investments increased by about $862,000 within specifically your governmental activities, and decreased $391 within your business type activities. The reason for the change in your governmental is largely due to your fund balance changing because you just received more revenue than you spent, therefore you have more cash. That's in essence what's happened within your general fund. And then the business type, the statement of cash flows kind of shows a little bit more detail. It can get a little bit convoluted into all the different types of ways cash changes. So unless you want me to go into it, I won't go into too much of it. And then your your pension liability and your OPEB liability increased, and that's largely due to just poor investment returns during the between December 31st of 21 and December 31st of 22. Relatively speaking, it wasn't a great year, and so that's a large reason for why it increased. At the bottom of the page, page 11, shows your changes in net position. It shows your revenues and expenses and the changes between your 23 and 22 fiscal year. Your governmental activities increased a pretty significant amount, about 7.4 million about. Your operating grants and contributions increased 1.3 million. You had a fair amount of donations and public works grants during the year. And then your property taxes increased slightly, just generally due to taxable value increases. And then in your business type activities, it increased in your net position by about 1.8 million, and your charges for services increased 318,000, and your expenditures increased a fair amount, about 3 million approximately, just due to the changes in your pension plan largely. So if you go bottom page 12, you can see how much your governmental activities, all the various revenues that you received, and how much it shows your allocation of revenues in essence, just by percentage, so you can see where you received everything. And then the next page, it shows your allocation of expenses, the basic functions of what you use it on and how much you used it on for the year. Beyond that, I don't have a ton. I will say that pages 17 all the way through 20 or 30 are your basic financial statements, and it shows all of your funds more in depth and specified out. So, are there any questions you had or anything on that? Awesome. I will say there were no findings, so Chris and everybody involved were borderline perfect, and so there's no findings whatsoever. So everybody involved with the audit and doing the work is doing a pretty decent job. So.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't know, that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, looks like
Good job.
we're in pretty good shape.
Anything to add, Chris?
No, I'll just add that, I mean, I'm sitting here with the audit in front of me, but it's all the department heads, it's all the staff members that do the work, monitor the expenses, communicate with the finance department. It really takes everybody to get an audit like this all the way down to making sure we keep receipts and keep invoices. And when Ian and his staff ask for them, my staff were able to pull those quickly. So it truly is, starting with Sarah all the way down, this audit's a team effort, and my opinion is we're in good financial shape, as I had mentioned last meeting, and we talked about some capital improvements that we're going to need, and we have some cash available to do those.
Okay, no other questions? Thanks, Ian.
Awesome.
Now, are we under contract for multi-years, or how much longer are they gonna be doing this?
So they'll do under contract for 2 more audits, so they now have the baseline to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully you all are able to get this meeting over quick so you can go watch the mission.
Thank you.
I thought it was gonna take a half an hour.
No, I try to keep it as short as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Dave Hatfield.
Thank you, and I promise to also keep it short and sweet in the interest of other activities that are about to commence. So, pleasure being with you. I want to thank the mayor and Sarah for putting an agenda item on here that'll be standard procedure going forward. I think it's nice that I'm not restricted to public comment, not because I want to take an excessive amount of time, but I do think that there may be occasions when it will be nice to have some dialogue back and forth between yourselves and myself, which just isn't possible if we're doing it under public comment. We had our organizational meeting last week. I'm pleased to report that we have re-elected the same officers that we had last year, so the Dave and Dave show will continue. I'll continue in the role of vice chair. Also pleased to report that we have received our audit report, and like with the city, I can tell you that the county's finances are also in very good order. So when you look at the combination of the city and the county, I think we can be very proud that we are one of the strongest combinations of city, county, anywhere in the state, and that will certainly bode well, I think, for both entities. I won't go into a litany of what we accomplished last year, but I am proud of the fact that I think we've been able to make some progress on issues that in the past have, for lack of a better term, been kicked down the road. Particularly pleased with the progress on the Commission on Aging building. We still got work to be done on that, but it's progressing very nicely, and by being able to co-locate that with Harvest Point, we're saving literally millions of dollars that would otherwise have to be spent if we were locating that somewhere else. One of the things that we did here in the various roundtable discussions was a concern over transportation. Admittedly, it's going to be a different situation for a lot of people than when it was taking place here in the central city, but we've been working with transit, and we think that we'll be able to put transportation plans in place that will address the needs of particularly the city residents, but also a lot of the out-county residents, and hopefully make that a better used facility even than what it's been in the past, and think that we'll particularly be able to make some progress with the quality of meals that we're putting out with Meals on Wheels program. We also have a number of other facility issues that are moving forward, including the jail. That will move further up the agenda, particularly as we see their remaining issues with COA resolved. Then we'll move full press on taking a look at what we can do with the jail. Other than those things, I think that a couple of the major issues that we will be confronted with, particularly early this year, are the both solar farm and wind farm issues, as well as gravel pits. And fortunately, and I can say this as chair of the city's planning commission, those are not issues for us, but those are extraordinarily difficult and problematic, particularly given what the state has done in trying to usurp a lot of the decision making on solar and wind from local control to state control. They've left a little bit of wiggle room, but not much, and we need to figure out how to best participate in that progress. So, having said that, I'd be happy to address any questions that any of you may have.
Any questions of your county commissioner?
I'd like to make a comment. Being on the city council and you being on being the commissioner, I appreciate you doing that, because your job's a lot tougher than ours, what you have to work with and deal with. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. I don't know that it necessarily is that much more difficult, but county government has a complexity to it that you are very fortunate not to have. You know, it's very difficult when you've got departments out there that are overseen by elected officials that we have absolutely no control over. We do control the purse strings within certain limits, but those are also what are referred to as mandated services, and so even our ability to influence them through financial controls is very limited. So it's been a real learning experience for me, and I think will continue to be.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Just have a comment. I want to let you know that we really appreciate you and the rest of the commissioners for the job that you're doing.
I thank you, sir.
I have a question. What, your first meeting, you organized the last meeting. I assume tomorrow you're having a full board meeting, or is this, what's going on?
Well, we had the organizational meeting last week, immediately followed by a committee of the whole meeting. So tomorrow will be a board meeting. The agenda is largely filled with items that were addressed at the committee of the whole meeting last week.
Okay, that was my question. While looking at your agenda,
yes,
you know, you're gonna, and I think you guys did a great job last year. You guys kept everything moving. You know, you didn't get real stagnant like some of the boards have in the past. I think you're doing a great job. I just want to know if there's any secret thing you want to tell us about the meeting tomorrow, so we all tune in.
No.
You have to be there.
But if anything comes out of it, I'll be back at my next meeting. And I do want to say that even though my understanding is this will now be a standing item on your agenda, I will rarely be able to make the second meeting of the month, because one of the many committees that I sit on as a commissioner is the County Planning Commission meeting, and that meets on that Monday evening. So
I appreciate you coming, Dave. You know, you and I talked about this, and I think being you're our elected official, I appreciate you coming. And we'll have you on the agenda, and if you're not here, we'll know why, and we'll just say, hey, no report tonight. So I appreciate you coming tonight.
good. Well, I appreciate it, and I think that particularly as a few of these projects move forward that have significant impact on the city, I look forward to a significant dialogue with you, and I think that that's one thing that hasn't always taken place in the past. I know you're really not interested in knowing how many meetings I attended last month, but you are interested when we're dealing with particularly real estate issues that may have a significant impact on the city. So that's when I see a real opportunity for dialogue with you. But truly, anytime you see or hear of anything going on in the county that you can only scratch your head and say, what in the heck are they thinking? You know how to get a hold of me, and I would encourage you to do so. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
with that, I'm going to excuse myself, and
You're not gonna sit here and listen to the rest of our meeting?
I feel compelled to go home and lend my support to Blue. So,
Appreciate it.
thank
Know how
you.
you are.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, items for unanimous consent. In your packet, you have invoices totaling $131,692.72. And these are all items that were already budgeted. This is just a detail of the expenses of the bills. So would I hear entertain a motion to approve and place on file?
I'll make the motion to accept and place on file.
Motion by McLean, supported by Brem, to accept these invoices and place them on file. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Brem?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Mayor Tassavo?
Yes. Okay, also in your packet, items of business, adopt city rules of procedure for 2024. These are pretty much the same rules that we come up with last year. The only thing we did, we added procedure for election on a vacant council position. You want to talk about any of this, Sarah?
It's similar to the procedure that was followed when we last elected someone to fulfill a vacancy, but it's prescribed as a procedure rather than being an idea that can be adhered to or not, or modified by a future vote. So hopefully it will make things a bit more straightforward should we have the need to appoint another council member in the future. The wording is taken almost exactly from another community that does something similar. I can't remember if it was Menominee. Yeah, and so we borrowed from that for the purpose of the language. But hopefully that would make it more structured should we have a similar decision in the future.
Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Nesbeth, supported by McLean, to adopt city council rules of procedure for 2024 as presented. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Brem?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Mayor Tassavo?
Yes. Also in your packet, entertain a motion to approve public notice calendar of regular council meetings as the second and fourth Mondays of each month. Do I hear that motion?
I make the motion that we approve that.
Support.
The calendar.
Motion by Jarvis, supported by McLean, to approve the calendar as presented. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Nesbit?
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi?
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow?
Yes.
Councilmember Brem?
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis?
Yes.
Councilmember McLean?
Yes.
Mayor Tassavo?
Yes. Next item, consider mayor's 2024 recommendations for appointments with consent of council. See attachment. The only thing we changed on this from what you had in your packet is we had Jessica Wood, Dickinson Wright as, I brought this up today to Sarah. I think we forgot. She used to be reappointed each year. So that's the only addition to what your original packet item was. I hear
And
a
the
motion.
city attorney too, right?
Hmm?
And the city attorney?
Right.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, the board, planning commission, all the boards that I appoint people to, plus the city attorney
Right.
Right.
appointment, so.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion by Barlow. Did I hear those?
Yes.
Supported by Rezegi, to approve mayor's 2024 recommendation for appointments with consent of council, including the city attorney's appointment. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit,
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
Yes. Okay, entertain a motion to approve or to adopt Resolution 2024-1 to adopt the City of Hastings 5-year Park and Recreation Master Plan.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Motion by Rezegi, supported by Furl, to adopt Resolution 2024-01 and adopt the City of Hastings 5-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
Yes. We have a request from the fire chief to purchase 2 replacement portable radios and 1 replacement mobile truck radio from CCOM of Kalamazoo in the amount of $12,437.96. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Nesbit, supported by McLean. Discussion.
Question.
Go ahead.
Didn't we just approve recently radios?
You did.
What do these radios do that those radios didn't do?
Well, we have a total of 8 vehicles, and out of those 8 vehicles, the last radios that were purchased were portable radios, which is what the firefighters carry.
Oh, okay.
So we have a total of 12 of those. We just went through the state testing, and 2 of the radios failed. So this is a replacement for the 2 radios failed with state testing. And then the last mobile radios that were bought was 2016. So the mobiles and the trucks are getting pretty old. And so the rest of the radios are going to be okay until we're going to put them in the capital improvement plan for next year.
So there's more radios coming.
Next year.
How many radios you got?
Well, we've got 8 in the trucks. Well, actually, we have a total of 16 in the trucks, but we'll be removing the VHF radios next year, so they won't be replaced. But then the portables, we have 3 portables in every truck, plus all the officers covered with portables. So there's a lot of radios.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Go
So,
ahead.
what do we do with the 2 that failed the state's testing?
They'll go out of service.
Trash or?
They won't be good for anybody. We can continue to use them for a while. So the problem with the state is, what they do is they have a rolling end of life, and they roll it through, and what will happen is, as we make changes to our radio templates, they won't make any changes to those templates. So if another department adds a new talk group, we won't be able to add that talk group into those radios. So we'll be able to use them for probably another year or so, and then as all the departments are making template changes, and as those continue to change, they'll just get more and more outdated. We'll be able to use them for backups, for maybe instruction fires. So we won't get rid of them right away. They just won't be a frontline radio.
Okay.
So these radios you use to talk back and forth between the command and the firefighters, right?
Correct. The portables are used for, so we don't allow any firefighter to go into a building or be away from the vehicle without a portable in their hand. So if they can help.
Okay, we have a motion by Nesbit and support by McLean to approve purchase of 2 replacement portable radios and 1 replacement mobile truck radio from CCOM of Kalamazoo in the amount of $12,437.97. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
Yes. Okay, entertain a motion to approve a quote for the removal and replacement of an 8-inch plug valve from the north primary clarifier at the city's wastewater treatment plant from W. Soul in the amount of $6,195. Do I hear that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion by Barlow, supported by Jarvis, to approve a quote for the removal and replacement of an 8-inch plug valve for the north primary clarifier at the city's wastewater treatment plant from W. Soul in the amount of $6,195. Discussion. Anybody want to know what a 8-inch plug valve is?
No, it
sounds
doesn't sound good.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Furrow,
Yes.
Councilmember Jarvis,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesbit,
Yes.
Councilmember Rezegi,
Yes.
Councilmember Barlow,
Yes.
Councilmember Brem,
Yes.
Mayor Tassava.
Yes. Consider setting a council workshop on January 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. to discuss the council's goals for the upcoming year.
I'll make that motion to set that workshop for January 22nd at 6 p.m.
Motion by McLean, do I hear support?
Support.
Supported by Furrow, to set a council workshop for January 22nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. to discuss council's goals for the upcoming fiscal year. Is there anything we need to look up or read up on to get, do we have anything, what our goals and objectives were for last year? Or?
Yes, so those are included in the budget document. I'll also give a brief overview of what the goals were last year, what we've done to advance them so far, and what we maybe still need to do on those goals, as well as some suggestions for myself and other staff and department heads about what you might want to consider as goals. But please consider your own priorities and things that maybe constituents have brought you, or some things that you've seen that you'd like to discuss as being potential goals as well. So you got to do brainstorming before the meeting.
So is this information you're going to get out to the council before that workshop, or this is something you're going to present at that workshop?
I had planned to present it at the workshop, but I can easily make copies of the section of the budget document that contains the goals, and then I can just do an update on where we are with them at the meeting.
Okay. Would anybody like a little bit of that information ahead of time?
Sure.
I don't know that anybody has, well, we do have.
We have our budget.
Well, you can get on the city's website too and go back to last year when we had our goals and objective meetings. I think we have minutes on that, I think, is on the city's website.
I don't know how detailed the minutes are about the goals, but I'll just send them out on Friday with my regular report.
Okay.
Yep.
That'll give us something to look forward to on Friday.
Probably in the pile of paper like that with a single space, single sided.
Yeah. Okay. We didn't vote on this yet, did we? Everybody in favor of setting the workshop for January 26, 2024 at 6 p.m. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, we'll have the workshop. City manager report.
I don't have anything additional tonight.
Huh. Thought maybe we'd get out here a little later than this. Okay, in your report, you have Fire Chief Jordan's monthly and annual report. Anybody have any questions of Mark? Mark, do you have anything to add?
Everyone noticed that I think this cost me probably about 2 hours of my time. Did you see that the total, the city and the rural were exactly the same amount of roads for the end of the year? So it cost me about 2 hours, but I reran that report multiple times.
So you want us to ask questions of it then, or you want us to ask you questions?
No, they couldn't believe it was the same number. So.
It was very well done.
Thank
So it was well worth your 2 hours.
Appreciate it, I really do. Anybody have any questions of Mark? Okay, also you have Assessor Deb Rashid, is that how you pronounce her name? Ratchet. Monthly report, and as always, if you need any information, we can get her at the next meeting, or we can camp out in her office. But Okay, Public Service Director Tate's annual report. Anything to add to your report, Travis?
I was gone sick last week, so I wanted to add a little more, but more budgetary type things that I didn't get a chance to add.
So does anybody have any questions? Travis, you had a question earlier. Did they give you the answer you wanted to hear? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Reports of communication. Item A, 2024 City of Hastings observed holidays. There's a schedule in there for that. Item B, 2024 payroll calendar. There's a schedule in there for that. Item C, CIP budget development calendar, fiscal year ending 2025. Item D, 2024 planner, event calendar of January 2024. I entertain a motion to accept these items, A through E, and place on file.
I'll make a motion to accept the items A through E and place on file.
Support.
Motion by McLean, supported by Barlow, to accept items A through E and place on file. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Public comment. Mayor and council comment. Any comment tonight, John?
Yes, sir. I want to say that the ball drop was a huge success, and we had plenty of people down there. And I went through 10 bags of marshmallows.
Wow.
And I also wanted to thank Sarah for her weekly reports. I do read them, even though that most of the time I don't get back to you. It's because I don't want to clutter up your mailbox either. And Chris, for your reports.
Norman, any comment tonight?
No? Fine.
Jackie?
Go blue.
Go blue. Al?
Yeah, my comment is, it's the time of year to do your radon testing, and I had a serious problem with it. I found about 7 years ago in the city, and if you haven't had it done, I would suggest you do it.
Where do you go to do that?
Health department.
Yeah, they give you a test kit.
Go to the health
Free
department,
test
they
kit.
give you the test kit, you mail it in, and they give you your results.
Free test kit. Everybody, that you go do it, and you do the test,
wanna
take it
do
back
that.
up there. Any comments tonight, Mandy? Gordon? No?
I'm gonna put that
I'd
on
just
my
like
calendar.
to thank everybody here on the council for allowing me to serve as pro tem last year. It was quite an eye-opening experience, get to know people making decisions here for the city, and I enjoyed it very much.
Well, my thought on that, Bill, I really appreciate you following me around. You know, all I had to do was look up, and Bill asked me, he said he wanted to know exactly what I did, and I think, I don't know, I would hope you wouldn't feel this way. You're probably feeling relieved you don't have to follow me around anymore.
A little bit, yeah.
But I really appreciate you doing that. I think everybody on this council ought to serve at that capacity one time or another. I did years ago, and John has done it before. Bill Redmond did an excellent job. Don Tubbs was Mayor Pro Tem when I came on. It gives you a little more information on what the mayor's responsibilities are. And I really appreciate what you did for the last year.
Thank you.
And I want to welcome John to that position for the next year.
Thank you.
I had a couple things here. Capitol Conference, I don't know if on the back of, everybody got this magazine here a while ago. And on the back of that magazine, it talks about the Capitol Conference. Well, the cutoff for the early enrollment for the Capitol Conference is the 19th of January. After the 19th of January, anybody who wants to go to this, we have to pay more money. So, that's yours anyhow.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so that's going on. It's a 2-day thing. It's the 12th and 13th of March, and if you haven't been there yet, it's a real learning experience. They talk about all the things. Some of you went through training through the Municipal League. They talk about that stuff. They talk about a lot of the new things that are happening around Lansing and in the state of Michigan. Like I said, January 19th is the early bird deadline, so if anybody wants to go to it, you're more than welcome to go. It's a great learning experience. So, anything else come for council? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by McLean.
Support.
Support by Nesbitt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thanks for coming. Go blue.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely good for
You need to do that.